Boy, is this one overdue or what, man? If you were an SMG4 fan or a Glitch Productions fan, a small handful of you might have heard of their first show, whether it be through various YouTubers or otherwise, that show being MetaRunner. It was my very first show that introduced me to the indie animation scene altogether, and I believe it is a gem that should not be forgotten even with the more popular projects within the company. I felt I ought to watch the show again and give it a bit of a more fair shake. MetaRunner is a cyberpunk animated series following Tari with a unique ability to warp into video games. Set in a gaming-obsessed society, she joins allies to uncover her past, which is linked to a very corrupt corporation known as TazCorp and a missing person named Lucinia. The series spans into 3 different seasons, focusing on speedrunning, corporate conspiracy, and virtual reality. Pretty much Glitch's only show spanning across multiple seasons. However, for this video, I'm just gonna cover one season at a time. So think of this as the part 1 to the whole series. Get into the pros and cons already, the animation is kinda questionable. Same goes with the whole visuals. Don't look at certain characters or you'll turn it to stone, pretty much. I mean, I guess I can let it slide because it was their very first season of independent animation. I don't know, some of the models here look kinda scary, but obviously that's not a knock against the show and its aesthetic. The whole world it's involved in is beautiful. Same could be said about the game worlds. Each and every character feels like they have something to do, and it really does leave you wanting more and watching more and more seasons. It's a show that kinda hooked me, it still kinda does, and this is where I pretty much get into spoiler territory, so if you have watched the show, then keep watching, and if you haven't, I just shove off and go watch the season yourself. In a place called Silica City, video games, speedrunning, and esports pretty much were the social norm. Our main character is a woman named Tari, who wakes up all disoriented in an abandoned factory. She has no memory of her past and only vague flashes of an accident by a scientist named Dr. Sheridan. Once she stumbles out onto the street, she finds out she has something called a MetaRunner arm, which pretty much makes her more cracked at game performance, basically. Simply put, if you suck at Overwatch or Fortnite, a MetaRunner will carry your ass to victory. She makes her way into the city and eventually wanders into a TazCorp store. She witnesses a top MetaRunner named Belle Fontier attempting a world record glitch in a platformer, Ultra Jump Mania. Pretty much what you would expect from a platformer, because you know it's Mario. It's a ripoff of Mario, let's be honest. When Belle messes up and misses the goal pole, she rage quits and throws the controller onto the ground. The crowd leaves, and so does she. Tari then picks up the controller and plays the game, and she completely loses control. I mean, like, dude, I like platformers too, but like, calm down. Calm down, dude. Her arm activates and unexpectedly causes her eyes to glow blue, and she is literally pulled into the game itself. Kinda reminds me of something. No, I'm not reviewing that. Go away. Inside Ultra Jump Mania, Tari meets a cheerful, energetic character named Theo, the young boy who helps her navigate the colorful, glitch-filled levels. Tari's ability to warp into video games allowed her to directly mess with the code, allowing her to interact directly with the NPCs and environment and whatnot. In the real world, Belle and TazCorp's ruthless CEO, Derek Lux, notices the anomaly. He sees immense potential in Tari's power for corporate dominance and orders her capture. Lux is honestly one of my favorite types of villain in any media. A well-dressed businessman with a growly and hoarse-textured voice that makes him pretty much very intimidating and easy to hate. Tari and Theo finally escape, but it ends up drawing attention from the TazCorp forces, and they separate as they flee the realm. Back in reality, Theo ends up being rescued by members of MD5, an underground resistance group operating from a hidden base in a ramen shop. This team includes the laid-back, anime-loving Lamar Williams, the tech-savvy and optimistic Sophia Porter, and the serious yet skilled leader Masa Shimamoto. MD5 has been secretly fighting against TazCorp's corrupt control over the whole gaming industry. Oh well, I wish I could do something about ours. They rescue Tari soon after she escapes, and they find out her warping ability could be a great tool for their cause. Tari begins training with the group while experiencing fragmented flashbacks and revealing connections to a secretive experiment known as Project Blue, which involves very dangerous tests on meta-runners. As Tari integrates with MD5 more and more, the team plans a major operation to hack TazCorp systems and expose their illegal activities, including the shady details of Project Blue. Tari's power proves very crucial during high-stake challenges and practice sessions across various games. However, the abilities also make her a very big target. Belle becomes more increasingly suspicious about Project Blue and the disappearance of Sophia's sister, Lucinia. The group faces moral dilemmas, internal tensions, and the constant threat of betrayal as they balance personal loyalties with their rebellion. As the season goes on, the team engages in intense in-game battles and daring missions, whether it includes risky little quests and getting dangerous parts of the city to acquire upgrades. Tari becomes more confident in her skills and deepens her bonds with Theo, who pretty much became like a little brother to her. The team devises clever, sometimes unorthodox strategies, whether it's like using specific game glitches or hack to infiltrate TazCorp, while at the same time, Belle uncovers shocking evidence about Project Blue, raising questions about what really happened to Lucinia and Tari's own origins during the lab accident. The team keeps training intensively for the competition in the Battle Royale game, Tempest, a magic-focused arena. Tari is taught about spell collection mechanics and precise glitch falling, instantly jumping from the peak of a mountain with a wind spell for momentum. She keeps falling and falling and falling and failing and failing and failing. Meanwhile, Belle questions Lux about Project Blue's ties to Tari and Lucinia's death to extract answers directly from Tari. With the glitch mastered, MD5 then moves on to combat training for the tournament's dangers. A week later, the Tempest tournament begins. Tari, Lamar, and Masa sneak Theo in as support. She hesitates, but reassured that this is their only chance. Upon warping in, she briefly enters a void and glimpses Lucinia before appearing on the chaotic battlefield. The group gathers spells, deploying Lamar's force field and Masa's kunai for defense. They face an elite opposing team and teleport to a cliff for safety using a spell. Tari's earlier blackout raises concerns, but the team keeps going on for the glitch. The elite team ambushes them again and knocks Tari off the cliff into a ruined building where she fights for survival until MD5 reinforces her. MD5 launches an assault with Masa leading the charge while others flank support players. They eliminate 3 enemies, but Theo ends up sacrificing himself to shield Tari, allowing the leader to flee. In reality, the leader is revealed as Belle, who recognizes Masa. Lux contacts Belle, ordering Tari's elimination. The team reaches the mountain summit as Belle attacks, taking out Lamar. Realizing TazCorp is aware of the plan, Masa reveals to Tari that he was once a TazCorp team captain, decommissioned for hacking Lux's server in order to investigate Lucinia's fate. Masa and Tari battle Belle, nearly prevailing until Belle ends up restraining Tari beneath debris and forces Masa to overload his arm in defense. Belle defeats Masa as Lux demands Tari's death, but she severs communication to interrogate Tari privately about Lucinia. Tari insists she knows nothing about her powers nor Lucinia, but Belle ends up torturing her for answers. Theo's encouragement steals Tari, who pretty much lets Tari escape and ends up performing the glitch flawlessly, despite the interference. Back in reality, Masa and Theo praise her as Lamar calls for evacuation. The group attempts to flee, but they end up being cornered by Lux and TazCorp security. They subdue Tari, Lamar, and Theo. Lux ends up shooting off Masa's arm and threatens his life to force Sophia's appearance. A tearful Sophia complies, handing over the tablet of stolen data, which Lux's scientists erase along with all the backups. Sophia demands answers about Lucinia. Belle defies Lux by revealing the explosion footage, noting the Project Blue emblem matches Tari's logo. Masa's trust in Tari wavers as she maintains her innocence. Lux prepares to imprison the entire MD5 group indefinitely, but Tari offers to join TazCorp willingly if he releases her friends. Lux discloses that he monitored their plan via Theo, whom he was used as a living spy camera throughout the corrupted cartridge. He traps Theo in a frozen state on a memory card, threatening destruction if MD5 interferes or Tari shows disloyalty. Lux frees the others and departs with Tari, who reassures them that she'll be okay. Within a post-credit scene, Belle finds Sophia's discarded phone containing a hidden backup of the server data. She locks eyes with Sophia during escort and departs as Lux inquires about a subject update via earpiece. Health statistics display for a woman in a cryogenic stasis, her condition listed as stable, implying very deeper meaning and different mysteries tied to Project Blue and Tari's origins, but that's gonna be for another video. Season 1 makes for a pretty solid start for later seasons, but I am gonna end up cutting it here. I do like the show and the setting and the tone. The characters so far are very enjoyable, and the story of what will become is very engaging. Season 1's very promising, but there are still a couple gripes I do have. Firstly being the band of misfits take down evil corporation that you pretty much see in every story nowadays. The art style is still obviously a gripe I have. Theo looks very scary in the first season, and it did leave more to be desired. Of course, that's still not a knock against the show, and of course, one last thing is the dialogue sounding like it was written by some adult who's trying to make character humor based off 2017 Tumblr interactions. And that just pretty much passes them off as very socially awkward human beings. Because I don't think anybody out there is going to enjoy listening to very cringy audio. What? Oh, give me credit. Of course, if you're into the corny dialogue like that, the show may be up your alley, but overall, the first season of Metarunner is so far a very solid story, and season 2 will be covered in a future episode, but I got a lot more videos and reviews planned, not revolving around Metarunner, of course, but it's gonna take a good bit of time before I get around to them. So for now, I'm gonna cut it to a close. Thank you all for watching this review of Metarunner Season 1. As I just stated, I'll do a second part sometime soon. It's gonna take a while, and I'm sorry for the whole delays and whatnot. Life keeps getting in the way, and I wanna make other videos. I got some other stuff I wanna get out of the way first, but for now, this is Vinch, signing off. Take care, everyone. Yeah, no, that season 1 art style still has me messed up. It was so stinky, they had to go change it for the second season. Can you, imagine changing up your art style in between the second part? Be pretty funny, right?